Sorry for the delay. We just had a summer social out in Ward 7 at the West Royalty Community Center, so we just got left there as quick as we could and get in here. We do have quorum. Jason, do we have Councillors McCabe and Duran online? Are you there, Councillor Duran?
Yes, I am, Mayor Brown. Thank you.
And Councillor McCabe?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So if there's anyone out in the hall, you can go into the, you're going to use the Parkdale room? Or is it too much?
It's too much, is that not?
That's why they didn't have it before.
That's why we did it in the other room.
Okay. You might as well tell them to turn it off. Or just, yeah, the foyer's available, but I guess they just want to stay in the hallway. Okay. So if anyone sitting in there wishes to get some more room, there is the foyer available, and it's on closed circuit TV or YouTube. Okay, I'd like to first acknowledge and appreciate the land in which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq First Nation. We have quorum where Councillor Beck is not available. Councillor McKinnon is in conflict of interest because he's worked with the Community Fridge organization, so he is claimed or has called in as conflict of interest. Councillor Bernard didn't call, so Councillor Bernard, he may be coming by later. So we have only one application on the agenda, and it's the on-address parcel, PID number 358218, across from 46 Valley Street. It is the parking lot for the Sherwood Parkdale Lions Club. Our staff member here tonight is David Gundrum, who is the manager of planning and development. He will make the presentation. And the Sherwood Parkdale Lions Club will allow Sandra Sunil to speak, correct? Okay. So while we're back to in-person meetings, at this time, residents still have the option to participate via Microsoft or MS Teams if they prefer. The meeting is also live streamed in YouTube or on YouTube. Very easy to get to. It's www.charlottetown.ca/video. And as I said, we only have a couple of members that are not here. Bob Kenny is one of the planning board members, so Bob is here, and I don't see any of the other members. And I will now call on Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff to briefly go over the order of this evening's proceedings. Deputy Mayor Yankoff is the chair of the Standing Committee on Planning, Development, and Heritage.
Thank you, Your Worship, and welcome everybody on this warm, sunny summer evening. Appreciate you all being able to come out for this public meeting. Just in case anyone's not aware of the order of the evening, the first thing will be a brief presentation by our Manager of Planning and Development, David Gundrum. And after that will be the presentation from the applicant. And after that, we will then open it up to anyone here that would like to speak. Anyone that does come up to the mic to speak, we just ask if you just state where you're from, and we mean just specifically, like, are you from Charlottetown? And you have a hard five minutes, and given the crowd tonight, we can't extend it any more than that because we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to get up and say what they need to say. Yeah, and also, besides saying where you're from, say your name too. Thank you, Councillor McAleer, for that. So we'll start with the folks here in the room, then we'll open it up to anyone who has called in. And after that, councillors, if they wish to seek clarity from the applicant or from the manager, they can do so. But just to remind us all, we're here to listen this evening. We're not here to pass judgment at this point. And other than that, anyone that isn't able to be here or leaves this evening and has further information they want to share, they have until tomorrow at noon to send an email to the Planning Department. And other than that, I think that's about it. I really appreciate you attending, and I'll turn it back over to His Worship, Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I also want to recognize our CAO, Eleanor Mohammed. She is also a professional planner. That's her background, so she's here tonight. Councillor Beck just arrived. Welcome, Councillor Beck. And I just want to note that Minister Rob Lance is in the building, a former councillor of this City Hall. So good to see you, Minister Lance. So first things, called order. Any declarations of conflict of interest? We do have one. Trevor McKinnon declared it. He didn't have to show up tonight. Approve the agenda, so I need someone to move the approval. Moved by Councillor Ramsey, seconded by Councillor Matart. All those in favor? Councillor Drawn?
In favor?
Councillor McKay?
In favor. In favor.
Councillor Twill? Good? Okay. So we'll call on Mr. David Gundrum to make the first presentation from the Planning Board perspective, or Planning Department perspective. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship, Mayor Brown, members of council, Deputy Mayor Yankoff, and those in attendance this evening. I'll try to be brief, given the number of folks that may wish to speak this evening. So I'll just go through a general overview of the application, then I'll turn it back over to the chair at that point. So the public meeting tonight. Oh, actually, Jason, can you control the slides from there? Great. Okay, I got it now. Yeah, thanks. So the application this evening is concerning a request for an unaddressed parcel fronting onto Valley Street, identified as PID number 358218. More specifically, this is a request to permit a community fridge as an accessory use within the parking zone for the unaddressed property identified as PID 358218. As per section 43.1 of the Zoning and Development Bylaw, only a parking lot and a parking structure are listed as permitted uses within the parking zone, which applies to the subject property. The following slide illustrates the location of the subject property, which is at the southwest corner of the intersection of Valley and Connolly Streets, which is highlighted here in red. The current community fridge use is located approximately in the northwest corner of the property here. Again, the subject property is within the parking zone P and is adjacent to established residential uses in the area, along with a commercial use found to the north of the site fronting onto Connolly Street. Subject property contains a surface parking lot with space for approximately 30 vehicles. The property is owned by the Parkdale Sherwood Lions Club, who operate a community hall on a property across the street at 46 Valley Street, which is PID 358481 shown here. Again, the parcel is subject to the provisions of the parking zone P, which allows only for a parking lot and parking structure on the subject property, as highlighted in blue on the zoning map shown here. And other zones in the area are shown as highlighted: R3, R2, C2, and mixed-use commercial to the east of the site. Legislative requirements that have bearing on tonight's proceedings. In accordance with Section 3.10.4 of the Zoning and Development Bylaw, on May 7th, 2024, City Council approved a request to proceed to public consultation. Subsequently, on July the 5th of 2024, a written mailed notification letter was sent to property owners located within 100 meters or 320 feet of the subject property, advising them of the request for a site-specific zoning exemption for the subject property. A total of 56 letters were sent to residents advising them of the public meeting being held this evening to solicit their comments and feedback regarding the application. And to date, a total of 10 written responses have been received by the Planning Department, 5 expressing support for the application, and 5 expressing opposition to the application request. Following tonight's proceedings, the next steps in the process would be a recommendation provided by planning staff to the Planning Board at their next available meeting on August the 6th. Following presentation of that recommendation of the planning board, a consideration by council to take a vote on the application would occur at the regular meeting of council on August the 13th. So that is a summary of the application site-specific zoning exemption request and the feedback received to date, as well as the next steps in the process. And I'll turn it back over to the chair at this point to proceed with the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Councillor Twillie, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you for your presentation, David. You outlined the number of letters that were sent out. When did you send the letters out? I've talked to some of the residents that said that they didn't receive a copy of the letter, and we're talking within 100 meters, residents that are affected by the proposed development. So I wanted to get clarification as to when the letters were sent out. I think you said 56 letters were sent out. What is the requirement legally? Are they be sent out 10 days in advance, or is it 14 days in advance besides the advertisements in the newspaper?
You have an answer, David?
Yeah, through the chair, Councillor Tweel, the letters were postmarked and mailed and dated on July the 5th. We have a minimum requirement, I believe, of 14 calendar days. I don't have the bylaw in front of me, but I believe it's 14 calendar days for notification of a public meeting. So they were sent with sufficient notice to residents in that respect. So.
Okay, Councillor Twillie, let's get, you can ask these questions when we get the presentations completed. I want to get Sandra to make the next presentation. Yeah, you can follow up when we have it, open questions for the, yeah, no, we're going with Sandra. Sandra, please take the mic.
Hi,
Go ahead.
everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you all today. My name is Sandra Snell. I'm one of the organizers of the Community Fridge on Connolly Street. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the process and timelines that took place that got us to where we are today in terms of the process and who we met or who our partners were in order to establish the Community Fridge. So to start off, the request to submit this application was a surprise to us. We were under the impression and understanding that this community fridge was operating legally and following all the appropriate and necessary city bylaws and permit requirements because of the approvals and discussions we had 3 years ago with various city officials, departments, and groups. So Mayor Brown, the City of Charlottetown staff, the Charlottetown Food Council, Environmental Health, and numerous community groups in Charlottetown were extensively consulted from when this project was merely an idea. So during this process, we asked the city and various groups about the location and developed a plan together. Now, for context, this project started when we heard about the challenges faced by single household families in accessing dignified, good quality, and surplus foods, especially cooked meals. Now, this led us to gather and collect research and feedback on projects across Canada and around the world. We spoke with advocates and community organizers on PEI, such as those from the Soup Kitchen, PEI Food Exchange, Little Free Pantry, and so many more. We also spoke with the Mayor Brown and the Environmental Health Department numerous times in December 2020, and we presented the project to the Charlottetown Food Council on January 2021 to carry out the project and got their support to move forward. Now, we also wanted to ensure we heard from as many people as possible before starting the project, so we published a survey at the beginning of 2021. The survey encouraged the public to share their thoughts, and survey questions included what they thought about the fridge concept, if they would support it, and where they would like to see the fridge located. So the feedback was overwhelmingly positive, and folks identified a need for a community fridge to exist on PEI. In fact, through the survey and consultations, it was evident that folks want to have access to food in a dignified manner that is low barrier. So that means no set hours, so folks who work during the day or the evenings can still access it. And we also found that folks wanted to see it located in an accessible and central area with transit nearby. And these guidelines and values were further solidified through our public community fridge meetings that we hosted monthly. Now, during this initial process, we did ask the city staff and Mayor Brown whether we could host the fridge on city-owned property, but no response was given to this, so we considered it as not an option and pursued other avenues. Now, the Parkdale Sherwood Lions Club was identified as a potential host, and we presented to the club and met with them multiple times to ensure this would be an appropriate spot for the community. So once confirmed the Lions Club was willing to be a fridge host, we relayed the location to the city before building the structure to ensure we abided by all permit requirements and bylaws. So we asked Mayor Brown and the Planning and Heritage Administration and Director at that time questions about the permit requirements and bylaws we needed to get and follow. As you can see, we were told to proceed without a permit for our project, given that it would be a structure that people would not enter. So we went ahead with it, and once the structure was built, we did follow up with the Planning and Heritage team again to let them know what the structure looks like and where it would go. So after the launch of the fridge in August 2021, the Food Council also recommended to the Environmental and Sustainability Standing Committee for project funding, and the committee provided $2,000 to help with food purchases and fridge maintenance. So we were in the understanding that we had been operating in good faith. Now, with that, I would like to emphasize that we recognize this project is meant to be temporary and will exist if there is a need for it in the community. Now, the foundation of this project is based on neighbors supporting neighbors, and this allows us to build strong relationships with businesses and restaurants, maintain sustainable flow of donations of surplus foods to those who need it, and ensure the safety and cleanliness of the space are top of mind. This is only possible because of the no questions asked policy. Now, from my experience and feedback received to this day, the no questions asked policy and 24/7 access is highly appreciated by people, especially our most vulnerable populations like seniors, young families, post-secondary students, veterans, and many more. And I appreciate the time again to speak to you all today. I'm happy to provide more details and answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Sandra, thank you. So I'm just going to follow the order of events here. We will start with members of the public in the room, then proceed to those joining via Microsoft Teams. Council members will be allowed to ask questions off clarity. Remember not to give their opinion on the projects or project, as they are to remain neutral until the process is complete. So this is part of the process, which is to get public input. And while a member of the public is speaking, others are asked to show respect and decorum to all participants. Please refrain from unmuting their devices unless you are asked to speak. When asked to speak, please make sure you speak clearly so all participants can hear your comments. And as was said by the Deputy Mayor, written submissions will be received up until, Jason, until tomorrow?
Sorry?
Written submissions will,
Comments, yes,
noon tomorrow.
Planning and development.
And respect for others, we try to avoid clapping because we have an issue that one side can go against the other in terms of any speakers getting up. So we please ask you to refrain from clapping, cheering. This is an opportunity to get public input so that council will be given lots of information from the public, from our planning staff, to make a sound and complete decision. So the mic is open. Please give your name and also your place of residence. Just 1 second. David?
Through the chair, your worship, sorry to interrupt before we get started. I just wanted to clarify a statement that was made in response to Councillor Tweel's question earlier about notice. I believe I stated it was 14 days were required to provide mailed notice to residents ahead of a public meeting for a rezoning or site-specific exemption. I just wanted to double check and clarify. It's actually 7 calendar days and not 14. And based on the date that we sent the mailings out, we actually exceeded that minimum requirement by 5 days. We gave 12 days notice in this case for residents to respond through the mailed notice, but our minimum is 7 days as per section 3.10.4 of the zoning bylaw. So I just wanted to provide that clarification.
Thank you, David. We
before
want to
get
get
in.
public input first. Deputy, did you want to just?
Yeah, just as the chair of the committee, I just wanted to clarify as well that when the letters go out, they go to the property owner. So if any of you folks are here that happen to rent from a landlord in a building, it would have been your landlord that received the letter, not each individual unit in the building. So if that helps with any clarity around that, that's kind of how that works. So just hoping that that might clarify a little bit. Thank you. Thank you, Your
Okay.
Worship.
The mic is open. No, we're going with the public first. You can add, I'm sure it'll be brought up. The mic is open. Please state your name, and please, you don't have to give your address. If you're from Charlottetown, outside of Charlottetown, that's all we need. So it's open mic.
Hi, my name's Kent Simpson. I reside in Hampton, PEI, but I come to Charlottetown once a month to meet with the PEI Food Exchange and cook meals that we provide for the community fridge. And I just want to say that I think it is an amazing opportunity for us to give back. And shutting down the fridge, I believe, would be a terrible mistake. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mic's on?
Pardon?
Did you get that
Is the mic
recorded?
on?
Is that being recorded?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Say it again. Say just your name or something.
Kent Simpson.
Yeah, no, we're good.
All right. Thank you.
Mic's open.
I wasn't going to be the first one to speak, but I guess Kent, it's a good time to get up, I guess. Is
Can
this
you,
on?
yeah, just put it down lower, please. Thanks, Pauline. And speak right into it.
Okay,
It went
so
by
I
too-
have written notes because I get brain freeze when one of these gets in front of me. Can everyone hear me?
Just
Are
your
we
name
good?
and where you live, or what part of the city?
Okay, I live in Charlottetown. My name's Pauline Howard, and I'm here to represent the PEI Food Exchange. We are a volunteer grassroots group addressing issues of food insecurity since 2013, doing practical hands-on actions like gleaning, growing food, hosting literacy workshops, and building community food resilience. One of our initiatives is the Community Cook Days, where volunteers cook 100 meals to deliver to the community fridge. Cook Days started as a partnership between the Food Exchange and the community fridge 1 week before Fiona hit us in a small licensed kitchen with 5 volunteers. When Fiona struck, we realized what a benefit it would have been to have a group of capable volunteers who could be mobilized on short notice to prepare meals for people who could no longer prepare meals in their own homes because of power outages. Today, we have 150 volunteers. We have 3 cook days a month, and we deliver that food to the community fridge. We also have cook days in Montague and Bonshaw, started by people who attended the cook days here in Charlottetown. And closing the fridge would not only affect people who need food, it also puts into jeopardy this successful model of building community resilience through the power of food. The provincial government, through the PEI Community Food Security Fund, specifically encourages the development of community fridges and cook days. Not only does the fridge provide food, but it also is a facility that supports the government's aim to reduce food waste. The Food Recovery Network, which the city is part of, also aims to reduce food waste. An example of this is when the Murphy Group donated excess food from the Cavendish Beach Festival to the fridge. Another example is the PEI school food program donating any uncollected meals to the fridge. These are only two examples of good food that would otherwise go to waste if the fridge did not exist. These are only two examples. There are many more. The fridge also enhances our local food system. The PEI Food Exchange purchases all its produce from local farmers, so folks have access to fresh, healthy, mostly organic, unprocessed food. At the same time, helping to increase the revenues for our local farmers, and they need our support so that they continue to produce food. People with food allergies or food preferences find it very difficult to access vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, lactose-free food from most emergency food spaces. The Food Exchange is mindful of providing these options in our menu planning. Newcomers are a growing demographic, and we encourage our newcomer volunteers to lead us on cook days so that we can provide newcomers with food. I live close to the fridge, and I often go there to deliver food. My experience includes meeting a senior who came to the fridge even though there was a fridge in his community because of the stigma attached. And I think that's an example of why it's so important that there's no barriers. It includes people being excited because they could eat gluten-free or vegan meals or have a fresh salad. Admittedly, there are issues, and a number of them have been addressed, and I'm sure will continue to be addressed. It would be desirable to work together as a caring community to keep the fridge until such time when 30% of the island population and 2 out of 5 children don't have to suffer from not having a reliable source of enough nutritious food. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline.
Hello, my name is Jillian McKeeman, and I am a resident of Valley Street, immediately next to the community fridge parking lot. Thank you for allowing me to speak here today about the community fridge. While it's been helpful in supporting our community, there have been issues come to light that need attention. One major concern is the increase in drug-related activities near the fridge. Unfortunately, its presence has attracted people involved in substance abuse, leading to loitering, drug dealing, and drug use in public areas. Most recently, a couple of days ago, I observed while washing dishes at my kitchen sink, 4 individuals gather at the fridge, exchange money for drugs, and then proceed to consume those drugs in the middle of the street on Valley Street, while a group of children from the new Chances summer camp at the Lions Club walked by. And that's just completely unacceptable, and we cannot be supporting that kind of behavior. It's worrying for our neighborhood, especially with the homes and this child care center nearby. It makes all of us residents feel uneasy and affects our sense of safety. The fridge itself has become a focal point for these activities, which goes against its original purpose of being a positive community initiative. And I am all for the community fridge. I am all for social justice and providing healthy food for everyone. However, we can't sacrifice our safety for this. While the intention behind the fridge is great, we need to consider where it's located and how it operates. I urge us all, City Council in particular, to act on this, whether it means moving the fridge to a more suitable place or leaving it where it is and putting in stricter rules for its use, or even just improving the security to deter illicit activities in the neighborhood. Our community's safety, especially the safety of our children, should be our priority. Thank you for listening to me.
Could I just get your name again? Sorry.
Sure, it's Jillian McKeeman.
Okay. Get that. McKeeman. McKeeman? Correct?
McKeeman.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mic's open.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Donna Kelly, resident of Charlottetown, and I'm the property manager for Red Dirt Properties Incorporated. Our property is located at 414 Queen Street, which is at the corner of Queen and Conley. Our property is rented and tenants residing in same. As a property manager and landlord to our tenants, I'm here to express the concerns regarding the community fridge and request that it immediately be removed from its current location. The community fridge located on Valley Street in Charlottetown, the address is immediately behind our property, and the community fridge is located at the edge of our property. The community fridge is attracting many people to our property, and a significant amount of people have been loitering on our property, causing damages to our property and negatively affecting the use and enjoyment of our property. In particular, people are leaving garbage and using needles on our property, removing food from the community fridge and dumping it on our property, defecating on our property, threatening our tenants. In fact, I had a tenant move in May of 2024, stayed about 3 nights, and then asked for their damage deposit back and needed to move out because of this. They're engaging in drug use on our property. The police have attended at our property several times to deal with the issues relating to people at the community fridge, and a number of overdoses have happened on our property involving people at the community fridge. Therefore, the current location of the community fridge is negatively affecting our property and its value, and also posing safety concerns to our tenants and negatively affecting their ability to enjoy their home. Further, the loitering that is happening and preventing many individuals in need of food from accessing the community fridge, as they are fearful of those loitering and engaging in drug use. In accordance with Section 22 of the Residential Tenancy Act, tenants are entitled to quiet enjoyment of their rental unit, including freedom from unreasonable disturbance and use of common areas free from significant interference. It is our position that the location of the community fridge and some of the people it attracts to our property is interfering with our tenants' right to quiet enjoyment. As a result of the foregoing, on behalf of our tenants, we request the community fridge immediately be removed from its current location. I will add, we're not asking it for it to be closed, just asking it to be moved to a better and safer location. Thank you.
I do want to thank you for the work that you did on the property. That was a contentious issue.
Exactly. I mean, I will hit that. I don't want to say this, but it was a crack house. We all know that in Charlottetown. Mm-hmm. The work that they put into that property, it's beautiful inside as well as it's kept outside.
No.
And what it's attracting, that fridge, they're sitting on our property, overdosing. It's ridiculous, and something has to be done.
Yep. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kelly Mullally. I'm a resident of Stratford, but I've been a volunteer with the Community Fridge for 2.5 years. Every Sunday afternoon, I go to Sobeys on Allen Street and I visit my friends in the bakery, and they give me a full cart of donated bakery goods that would have gone into food waste, and those staff members greet me with warm smiles, knowing that that food is not going into a dumpster anymore. I take it, put it in my car, and I travel over to the community fridge, and it's usually 5, 6 Sobeys bags that are full that I'm taking out of my car. And by the time I open my trunk, I think folks know who I am and why I'm there, and a lot of the clients are already coming out of their apartments nearby or their homes to come and see what we have that day. And they all ask me if I need help, because they're not looking for a handout, they're looking for a way to help. So we unload the groceries together and we have a small chat, and they tell me about each themselves and I tell them about myself. And I have met new young families who are immigrants to Canada. I have met veterans who are struggling with their wages and their pensions. I have met young male adults who have started new work but are still waiting for their first paycheck that hasn't come in yet. They're all very grateful, and they apologize to me about the bad actors that are sometimes near the fridge that they feel will jeopardize it as well. I told them that I was going to come and speak the last couple of weeks and asked them if there was anything that they wanted me to relay on their behalf. Well, a little girl who kissed a birthday cake container when she took it out of the fridge, and her mom asked me to say thank you. And a merchant marine who hadn't had real bread in a couple of weeks asked me to say thank you. And a senior who was taking supplies back to all of the residents in his apartment building who can't come to the fridge asked me to say thank you. And I guess the only question I will ask is, if not there, then where? Thank you.
Thank you.
Merrill Montgomery, Queen Street. I have two submissions to read here for people that are too scared to get up and speak, they're that terrified. The first submission's from resident in 403B Queen Street. It says, in response to the request to rezone the site to allow the fridge to continue, I asked you and the board to decline this request. Some of the primary concerns are as follow. Unknown food quality sometimes will be just fine, but others are questionable as the fridge is left open at times. Food is taken out and put back in. Items are touched by several people. On sanctuary, things happen at the fridge and surrounding areas. Garbage and wasted food is seen on the regular. This is poorly managed, and donations should be treated more respectable and given to the programs that will be distributed and stored appropriate. This poses a risk to individuals in need. Greed, some cars pull up and take everything. The same people, multiple donate, did stop supporting, and this impacted well-run fridge and food banks. Driving that street is sometimes difficult as some people use the street area for social evenings, and we don't feel safe with activities. Often there's aggression and interest of our properties. I don't travel by foot at dark to the store or to the mailbox. I have lived on Queen Street half my life, and it just isn't a safe place anymore. The city allows this to be placed without proper steps in disappointing, and allowing it to stay open, knowing what is happening, has been very hard on the direct members of the community. Operators or the Lions Club were not made to make activities, the hours, or any of the damage it was causing. We ask that you please no longer allow this to continue. That's the first submission. 403B Queen Street. Second submission is resident property 357038000 on Queen Street. Mr. Grungeon, is that how you say your name? And
Chagundra.
Planning Department, please know that a resident living within 100 meters of the fridge do not agree with the placement of the fridge and ask that you do not approve the exception request. I am someone who has experienced food insecurity, but the management of this fridge and the activities occurring in the area have made using the fridge not safe, and our neighborhood has become unsafe with no issues being addressed. There is abuse of the donations as they're often wasted, and there are people who emptied all the items in one visit regularly. This should not be open all hours. It should be managed like other fridges so the food is also safe and shared amongst many. We no longer can manage the safety issue in our area. Please help protect their well-being and decline this exemption and direct to have it removed, please. Thank you for listening, for your attention. Thank you.
Sir, that second address was what? It was 403B Queen. What was the other one?
The second was the resident property of 357
Okay.
038 000 on Queen Street.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ava Bradley. I am a youth resident who lives just a few feet from the fridge. Since the fridge has been placed, I no longer feel safe in my own yard, home, or walking from school. I don't go to our mailbox or the store next door. I've been asked about my private parts many times and asked what I smell like. I've been asked if I'm raped and if I would like. I have been told my home would be burnt down and that my family's throat would be slit. When I call the and they say every time there is no point in charging them because nothing would happen to them. The same people come back and nothing has been done. We used to have family and friends over for get-togethers and barbecues. But I don't even practice my sports in my own yard anymore or have friends over. During the school year, my friends and I have avoided Murphy's property and the area close to the fridge. The things people see around the parking lot is talked about at school. We need to check our yards for needles and remove unsafe things that injured our dogs already. I can't help in the yard or cut my grass until the grass is fully checked. They are so loud at night I can't sleep sometimes. They fight and it's frightening. You never know what is going to happen. We pick up good food all over the place all the time. People need that food that is wasted. No one has stopped these things from happening to me or our home. A police officer once told us to move as nothing will stop. My home is my great-grandparents and I would like to live here with my family. Please do not allow this fridge to stay. It is not safe here anymore and the people who are right beside it are scared. Please know that nobody has asked me or my family about the fridge. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, mic is open.
Hi, my name is Tegan Hermanson, and I live in Charlottetown.
And your name?
Tegan Hermanson. Tegan Hermanson.
Speak loud, please.
2 in 5 children in Epigwet are food insecure. Until this figure is no longer fact, programs such as this are a necessary component to our community. The community fridge is an act of collective care, creating access to safe and nutritious food 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. The fridge's current central location is key. It is accessible, meaning many people can reach the fridge via public transport, and it is nearby to other downtown services. The community fridge is a project of solidarity and mutual aid. It is also autonomous. Neighbors can take what they need and give what they can, with absolutely no questions asked. It also reduces barriers such as sign-up forms and limited hours. The community fridge helps create access to food, reduces food waste, and is a beautiful way to build and support community. Neighbors supporting neighbors, and that's all neighbors. It's collective care. To effectively take away such a vital component of our community or to relocate to a less accessible location would be an absolute fail on our leaders' behalf. I am in full support of the continued operation of the community fridge in its current location. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'd just like to say that somebody passed me this and asked me to read it, but I also have what I'd like to say. Is that okay?
Yes. So Betty, can you just give your name? You don't have to give the name of the other
I think her
correspondence.
address is on here.
Okay, that's
I
all.
don't even know what's on it. She just asked me if I'd read
Okay.
it, and you know me, I
Just
said
have to
yes,
give your
I'll
name
read
for the
it.
public record.
My name is Betty Begg Brooks. Okay, should I do mine first or hers? Sorry.
It's your choice.
First of all, I just want to say, it seems like we're for it, we're against it. And basically, I would like to say, because of experience, I would like to say that I am for it and I'm against it, and I'll tell you why. First of all, Sandra and her family came here, and what they wanted to do, it was a great idea. It was much needed. And she worked with the mayor and whoever else and whatnot. And I don't know how long it took to get going and whatnot. But anyway, her heart was in the right place. Bottom line, her heart was in the right place. Her family was in the right place and everything. And if any of you know me, I know about food insecurities and whatnot. And you know what? If you go to bed hungry, you never forget that. And that happened to me, and that's why I give my life to feed people and do whatever else I can. You people know what I do. So, Sandra, I know there's a lot of talk, but you guys did what you knew, and you got help wherever you could get help, but maybe you didn't get all the help that you needed, because we wouldn't be in this predicament now if you had the right, what do you call it? I'm nervous right now. Do you believe that?
No.
You know, the right direction, you know, and somebody made a mistake and it wasn't them. So basically, I just want to say that. So I also want to say, basically, I can see the other side. I can see Pauline's side, I can see Yanira's side here, and I can see other people's side. The gentleman over there that spoke, that come out of town to bring food. Because this is what the community fridges are all about. But bottom line is, I remember when the community fridge opened, the first week, I bought over $525 worth of food from Gifts from the Heart, and I kept bringing it down every day to the fridge. And I made a statement that some people were taking too much. We have to share the food. And somebody that was working there said to me, take your and food someplace else. We don't need your food. That was the response I got. So that means, basically, Gifts from the Heart has over 2,000 families we feed a month. We feed the street people, and you all know that I have 3 community fridges, and I know the rules for community fridges, and I've told everybody that if you don't man the community fridges, they're not going to work. I have 3, and if I don't have somebody, sorry, I'm talking loud, I'm sorry, to man those fridges daily, 2 shifts daily, it's not going to work. And guess what? It's all about, and I've talked to Sandra, I've talked to other people, it's all about the rules that they put in place. Leave the fridges open for 24 hours. Let them take what they want, what they need, whatever. But you know what? It's not working. It's not working. I remember Member of Parliament and the housing minister had a 2-year celebration there. Well, all of a sudden that week, they painted the fridge. It was in such array. They painted the fridge, inside the fridge, the 2 fridges that were there, the on the side where you put your ketchup, mustard, and all that stuff, they were all broken off. But for that celebration, they had 2 brand new fridges from McCarthy's. So I thought, I talked to somebody, you know, in government, and I said, look, there's something going on here. That was a farce. Taking pictures of cake and kids with balloons and everything were last week. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you had the letter, but can you just sum up your presentation?
I will.
And go with the letter.
Anyway, and I said, you're on the board here. I'm going to hold you responsible. That was in 2023, and now we still have all those problems. Somebody came to me in the heat and said there was 12 mackerel in there. I don't know how long they were there. They opened the thing and it stunk so bad.
Okay.
So basically, I'm for the fridge, but move it someplace else, and please man it. I am living proof that to man those community fridges, they're going to work.
Okay.
Or that one.
Can you just?
Okay, I got to get my glasses on. Sorry, I'm so passionate.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. And I don't even know the name that's
Don't.
of the lady sitting there.
Okay.
But this came from property number and resident 35259. And it says, food security is not lost on the residents or like the community fridge is needed. And we support them in the operation who personally problem solves, support their clients in need and safety concerns to the community and for their clients. The fridge is managed poorly. Sorry. Volunteers have stepped away due to the ongoing issues that were not being addressed. Other fridges operated with volunteers and have hours of operation. No business can operate all hours of the evening in our area. I can't on my own property do the things that occur around the fridge all hours of the night. Health and safety of the food is also a concern. It is known that at times the actual fridge has not worked. The food was still permitted to be put in the fridge. There are videos of people urinating on or near the fridge. Anyway, pooping in the pantry and around the property. Incident with these individuals touching the fridge and pantry and manipulating food direction after. There is daily drug use at the fridge, at the Murphy's property, and on our property. Food is wasted and thrown regularly in the yard and in the parking lots. Often food gets, this here has all been said, and placed back in the fridge with the next visitor unaware of the activities that happened prior to their visit and the unsafe and unsanitary conditions that remain. The fridge has lost support from donors, and many in need do not get the benefit of the donations due to the fear of safety, but also because of the same individuals emptying the fridge contents in one visit. Our residents on our street is seen daily taking several bags of donations, leaving nothing behind at all. I was told that there were a volunteer at one time and possibly has decided to distribute food from their home. If this is the case, and this has been approved by Sandra wouldn't approve that. I don't care who wrote the letter. Why is the fridge still on Conley Street? Does this meet safety codes and standards? Other fridges run successfully and safely. Options to improve these issues were ignored by, sorry, Sandra, fridges should be managed and mandated to have operators that can ensure their endeavors can improve food securities without causing harm, safety concerns, and damages to the community. We do not support, I'm sorry, I didn't get it all read, but I think,
Finish up.
you want me to finish it?
Well, yeah.
We do not support this exemption and ask the Planning and the Heritage Committee proceeds with the necessary steps to remove this particular fridge, as well as the city to develop, to ensure endeavors such as these include the community in its place, and that is the property access for the risk mentioned before approving, and at a time frame to elevate its success or impact on its community. I just want to end with, I am not against the fridge. I'm for volunteers to man the fridge. I've done it, it works, and you won't get these people loading up their cars. There'll be food there for people that need it.
Okay, thank you, Betty.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yanira Greener, and I'm a volunteer at the fridge. I'm normally there about 3 to 4 days.
Yanira,
I do the
Yanira,
pickups from the
Yanira,
superstore. I do the cleaning of the
Yanira,
parking lot. And
can you just state your name clearly? No.
Yanira Greener.
In the mic.
Yanira Greener.
Yeah, no, that's not our camera. That's CBC. We just need it for our audio.
Okay?
Yeah, go.
Am I fine to go now?
You can go.
Okay. So I completely disagree with what Betty said. With all due respect, this is a completely different model from what Betty's fridges are. And I remind everyone that this is the first fridge that was established on the island. Betty's fridges came after. There are two different models. For what works for one might not work for the other. Okay? And to say that it's not working is completely, in my opinion, false. I see the people that frequented there. I know the people that frequented there. I have people telling me that that fridge has saved their lives. Now, Betty's fridges are banned, okay? So that means that if she doesn't have volunteers, they're closed, okay? So what good does it do that there's food in those fridges if people can't access it?
Go to the next one.
No, just finish off.
So that they can't access it, and they can't get to it. One is in the airport, one is way over there in West thing. The one I've seen over about Gifts for the Heart has always been closed. I have never seen it open once. Okay? So, as far as that's concerned, I think that fridge there in Connolly Street is doing an excellent job. The volunteers have tried very hard to meet the concerns of the public. We set up fences to provide privacy for the neighbors. We put up no loitering signs. We increased the amount of volunteers that are going to the fridge there to clean it so that there's always a volunteer present. I myself have requested people that I see loitering there to please, and they have always been very polite. And I requested them to move, and I said, you understand, because there's going to be complaints. And they were very polite and said, yes, we do. We were just here for the shade, and we'll move on. And they moved on. So things are getting better, and they're getting better by every day. The donations that are increasing are 3 times as much as they were in the past. And not only for what we're getting from the superstores to the grocery stores, but what we're getting from the community itself. I cannot be there at that fridge when I don't see 2 or 3 people coming from the public to donate there. Okay. Now, having said all this, I want to tell you a story that is very dear to my heart and what I feel what that fridge means to me and why I support it. I pulled up one day with treats from the superstore. There was a woman there with 2 kids. One was maybe 3 years old, the other one was maybe 8. And she had just one little bag and she was walking off. I said to her, ma'am, I have a lot of treats here that I think your kids would enjoy. The kids' faces lit up like shining stars. I will never, ever, ever forget the expression on those kids' faces over a couple of treats. And not only that, but then the mother helped me load. The kid, the oldest one, wanted to help so much that we had to kind of unload the boxes to let him participate. So why would anybody not want to put that type of look on somebody's kid's face? And not only a kid's face, but and also an adult's face. I have seen adults overjoyed over a little thing of pudding, and that is thanks to Betty Bragg, because she gave me 6 cases of that pudding, which they just love because they're homeless and they can't cook, and so they depend on that. And the joy from that one little pudding How could anybody not support something like that? Is what I'm saying. So yes, there are disadvantages to having this type of system because people are going to be people, and there is going to be. But overall, that fridge does so much more good than the harm that it does. And as far as the cleaning of the space and the needles and the attics and stuff like that, it has never been cleaner than it has been now because there was a problem there before. There was a problem there before, but now we have people that go in there and clean it on a regular basis. So it has never been cleaner. Not only that, but we clean the parking lot, we clean the Murphy's place, and we clean the side of that street also. So it's people that are concerned with as far as the needles and stuff like that. It has never been cleaner than it has been now under this organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. Okay, guys. Just give your name and your place where you live. Just.
Polina Puchkova. I reside in Charlottetown. I wasn't meaning to speak today. I work for the Charlottetown Farmers Market, and we've been having quite a bit of issues with the drug addicts lately in general. Sometimes we have to call the police twice a week. A lot of needles and all that. So just a question, maybe the issue of all these problems is not the fridge, but the city in general. Thank you.
Thank you. Allow her to go first, Bernie. Go ahead, ma'am. Just pull the mic down there, Donna. Just put it down a little bit. Yeah. Just give us your name, Donna, and.
Okay. Or if I get too.
Yeah, you have to speak louder.
I speak louder.
Good.
All
Good.
right, shout at you.
Shout out.
Okay, I'll shout at you. My name is Donna Yo. My home address is 315 University Avenue in Charlottetown. I live in a provincial seniors complex, which is located on the corner of University Avenue and Connolly Street, where the fridge is located. My apartment, all windows and doors face Connolly Street, and I'm on the top floor of the building. So I have a clear view of Connolly Street and the fridge area. So from my bedroom window, from my patio doors, and from my side window in my living room, and that's all the glass I have, to see outside. Anyway, I've lived there for 12 and a half years. I'm the first occupant of my building was just finished being built. Connolly Street was a street. The whole area was quiet. I'm saying Connolly, including Queen Street, Valley Street, Douglas, Lincoln Street. I think that's the street name that the Royal Bank is on. Okay? I could walk downtown and I could go down Valley Street. No problems. No fear, no problems. Or anybody else. Same thing, I could walk to the corner of Queen and Connolly and decide to go downtown that way. And coming home lots of times on Queen, I will cut through where the townhouses are there sideways, Queen that go to Valley. I can't do that anymore. My neighborhood changed when that fridge was located. The community fridge became located on Connolly Street. Nobody wants to be an addict. Nobody wants to be homeless. None of us. And I'm not down on anybody that is. Okay? I'll be honest. I had an addiction myself many years ago. Got into it very heavy after the loss of a son at the age of 25 years of age. I know when you're active in your addiction, you do things that maybe, you normally wouldn't do. I did those. But what I'm saying is, this is not the right location for a community fridge. The people in the neighborhood, the safety we had prior to 3 years ago or 3.5, when that fridge came, it's gone. Our safety's gone. And also, I have called the police, Charlottetown Police, on numerous times, which I'm sure other residents nearby have too. I will say the police have always came when I've called them, but I'm going to pick out one particular incident. It was a Friday. I was in my kitchen preparing supper, and I heard these loud male voices around 4:45, 5 o'clock at night. And I wondered what was going on. So I went to my windows and patio door. So there was a group of men across from the bingo hall parking lot on Connolly Street. That's before the bingo hall. They were in the mall parking lot there, right on Connolly Street. And there was a big circle of them. And they were shouting and fighting back and forth. So I called the police, and when I called the Charlottetown Police, they said they already had calls and cars were on the way. People, police were coming. So that was fine. Thanked them. Then one guy starts walking up Connolly Street, and I'm watching with another senior resident who is, I'm 74. She's about 87. And I said, oh God, the guy's coming up our street. So the police came, 2 cars at the same time, blocked Connolly Street off. They got out, went after him, and he fought with them. Anyway, they got him into the police car. If there's any members of the Lions Club here.
Donna, can we just
Yep.
conclude it because it's about 6 minutes? Yeah.
They will remember that incident because a bingo was going to be going on shortly after that, and there was Lion Club's members out there and their customers, and the police would remember it too. The young man had a knife, is what I'm getting at. Okay? It's not safe there. The other thing is, I want to bring up that I'm concerned about.
I think we've gone. It's
Okay, Queen Charlotte, just let me.
Donna,
Just for 1 second. Queen Charlotte students go straight down Connolly Street between the mall, the fridge, and that Lions Club parking lot beside the fridge.
Yeah.
On their lunch hour, they go to Jack's, Dairy Queen, wherever. They come back. Some of them go into the Great Canadian Dollar Store, buy chips, whatever. They're walking past all these individuals. I have watched the Native Council.
Donna, listen, but just,
Okay.
we get the
That's fine,
picture.
and
Thank you.
Piers Allowance, I think, is doing it now.
Yeah,
But people would know better than me, but it is not a good location. It is not supervised in any way and has never been. We, the residents,
Okay,
have
Donna,
seen the.
Donna, we got, thank you
That's
very much.
fine,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you, Donna. Okay. Is there, just 1 second, Bernie, we're just changing the batteries, some of the, yeah. Maybe that was the issue, was it? Was that the issue, of not picking up the sound? Are you getting the sound?
When she was talking at first, it was glitching.
Okay. Okay, live mic is up and ready. Bernie, I think we cut you off there. Do you want to come right up? Yep.
Thank you. My name is Bernie Plord. I am a resident of Ward 3 here in Charlottetown. I'm also a past founding member of the Charlottetown Food Council and past chair. I recall Sandra coming to us wanting to get some funding for the community fridge. We've had several conversations back and forth and emails to make sure that where the fridge was going and how it was being put together was viable. We did approve a funding of $1,000, and according to our bylaws for the council, we had to take that motion to the sustainability department. They came back with a $2,000 funding. So to us, it showed that the city was supporting this project. I hear this is a contentious issue, both sides. I don't have a fridge in my backyard. I don't see what the residents are reporting. I am a volunteer of the fridge. I go there on Tuesdays to clean the fridge in the mornings. I would say that we can't close down a service if we see waste for food. Otherwise, we'd be closing down the fast food chains, Sobeys, and Superstore. Now, when it comes to needles and things, yes, it is something we can't avoid. I think the community fridge is not turning a blind eye to that, and we can always look for support to try and amend that. Like my fellow volunteer said, if not here, where? I would respectfully suggest to council, if you do have to move the fridge and you don't allow the exemption, that the city take a leadership role and some responsibility and assist in the financials or the finances to move that fridge, because there was a big expense to build the building to house the fridges, and also to set up a electrical pole with Maritime Electric. So there is a lot of cost there to change this. The community fridge is not a business. It's a support to the community for vulnerable people, not a business. When we want to provide support for vulnerable people, I think a 24/7 does provide some of that support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernie. And you may want to just take the mic off the podium.
Thank you. I'll be brief. I think that the city has two problems here.
And just need your...
Ann Thurlow, 18 Granville Street.
Okay, thank you.
I think the city has two problems here. One of them is a drug problem, which is serious, and one of them is a hunger problem, which is also serious. What's happened is the two problems have become conflated. That for some reason, which I'm sure is pretty simple to understand, a lot of places that exist to help people who are hungry or people who are homeless end up being places that attract people who take drugs. But I think if we want to really address that problem, then we address excuse me, I was going to swear, we address the drug problem. We live on a street that's got no homeless shelter and it's got no community fridge, and there are people on our street taking drugs all the time. I know where they get them. It's not hard for the police to figure out where they come from. Let's address the drug problem and save these people over here a little bit of aggravation and help the people who actually need something to eat to get something to eat without having to wade through drug addicts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ann. No, sir, no, it's, it's 5 minutes per person, we just have to keep it, it's an open mic for individuals that want to make their comments known.
I didn't speak for myself.
Yeah, well, no, but you read, but you read 2 letters.
That was for other people, not myself.
Well, yeah, I think that, again, no, well, just 1 second, yeah, let's just open it up, please, again. Well, no, but again, this is a public for public consultation. He was, no, Shauna or Elizabeth, okay? We're here for public input from both sides.
Sorry. My name is Elizabeth Sheridan. I own a property at the corner of Reserve and Queen Street. I have many things to say. I have nothing bad to say about the idea, but I do have some things to say. The community of the city of Charlottetown as a whole was never consulted about where the community fridge would be located by the organizers or the organizer's family. The neighbors were not consulted by the organizer about her intent on putting an open concept community fridge in the residential area and how it would be managed. Consulting the owners of the parking lot and some politicians should have been a red flag to ask questions rather than it be a photo op opportunity for some politicians. The community members do not like being called clients, as they are not clients, but rather members of the city of Charlottetown. People feel belittled by some of the volunteers. The organizers does not have a good handle on managing the volunteers who are aggressive. Many good volunteers have left because they do not like the inner fighting and bullying within the organization itself for the past 3 years. People feel unsafe in the neighborhood. Community members feel unsafe using the open community fridge as they feel it is a free-for-all. As this is the only community fridge that is not monitored on the island, it maybe have been the first, but it is not, does not mean it is functioning for the general public as a whole in the community it was intended to serve. Food was donated and is eaten by some members of the public by taking a handful and then leaving the rest to be wasted in the fridge at open community. Some who use the current community fridge take food, not eat it, rather sell it to buy street drugs. The current organization motto is, there should be no judgment. Many volunteers do judge all who use it, making many feel extremely unwelcome and uncomfortable. People have witnessed drug overdoses. Children have nearly stepped on used needles or cracked pipes. People have witnessed live cockroaches in the fridge, including myself. The organizer was informed on April 18, 2024 of this happening. Neighbors have witnessed the community fridge used as a laboratory. Neighbors have literally witnessed the unhoused open the doors to the pantry and fridge and take a piss. Until this past spring, the volunteer doors was constantly broken into by the community members looking for food or what they deemed as a safe place to get out of the cold in the winter months of PEI. Many community members were from the general public or other organizations have been taken aback when some people come out of the volunteer section. One community member sent me a picture of a dead baby rat, which I forwarded to Philip Brown, and he said, "Did you tell your counselor?" The picture was taken on June 25th, 2024 in the afternoon. The garbage is overflowing on a regular basis. Because the garbage bins have been assumed by some community members that they can throw their garbage at the community fridge location. June 7, 2024. One of my neighbors on Reserve brought some food that had been frozen. Should not have been frozen. When the veggies would thaw, they would be mush, therefore unedible. The organizer was informed on June 10th, 2024, that she should either move the community fridge to Jack Blanchard Hall or close it down. Her attitude was, well, let's see what happens on July 17, 2024 at the City Hall meeting for the consideration of the licensing, and said no to hosting the open concept community fridge at Jack Blanchard Hall. The organizer was informed by Betty Begg on June 10th that she should close the community fridge because if it got into the public what was happening, that it would be over. My neighbor informed everyone who attended the meeting that she had personally witnessed someone not just opening up the fridge doors and taking a leak in the fridge, but the Charlottetown police had been across the street and the officers removed unhoused people from the mall across the street. But
Elizabeth.
what then happened
Elizabeth.
was the
Elizabeth.
officers put rubber
Elizabeth.
gloves and took the
Elizabeth.
food
Elizabeth.
back to the community
Elizabeth.
fridge for
Elizabeth.
knowing full well that the
Elizabeth,
unhoused had
you have
pissed
to wrap
on
it
the
up.
items.
Yep, you have to wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you. Just, thank you very much.
Well, you can read the rest of it.
Yeah, you can
Philip,
submit it.
I have sent it to you, and I've also sent it to my counselor, and I've sent it to the planning. I've also put a proposal on how we can fix this.
Okay, thank you. If I correct the process, the presenter already gave her presentation. There's no follow-up? Yeah. That was the purpose of the presentation. It's again to make it fair and equitable. Just one sec. The mic's still open. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to councillors. Now, again, if I can just go back to council members will be allowed to ask questions of clarity. Remember not to give their opinion on the project or projects as they are to remain neutral until the process is complete. Councillor Twill.
Sir, with all due respect, the gentleman that wanted to get up and speak didn't speak for himself. He spoke for a couple other residents that were fearful and are not comfortable speaking at a microphone, and I understand that. So, sir, I request that
just
gentleman
Councillor Twill.
have the opportunity to speak for himself as a resident.
He spoke and
No,
he took
he
up,
spoke for-
he took up
Mr.
his
Mayor, he
5
spoke
minutes.
for a
No,
couple other residents.
Took up his 5 minutes. Now, if council is okay, I know Councillor Beck is saying is okay. If Councillor Beck and others agree to allow him to speak on his own for 5 minutes, I will allow that to happen. Good? Good?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Go ahead.
Give your name, please.
Merrill Montgomery, Queen Street. So, all these people that say how great the fridge is and stuff like that, and that how perfect it is, why don't they get up at midnight and sit in the parking lot till 4 o'clock in the morning and see the activity that goes on? Because there's other people in the community that have to work and get up, like myself, I get up 3:30 in the morning, go to work. And other people do too. So why can't the fridge say, like people say people's hungry? Well, most people that are out prowling the streets at night should be home in bed anyways. You don't eat through the night. So why can't the fridge be on at like say at 8 o'clock to say 8 to 8? Like there's no reason why that couldn't be done. And that would come into part of the management. And like there's a lot of people that you sit there and watch, they're there at a certain time, they get all the good food and they're gone. So it's, anyways, I don't know what the answers is, but it's not perfect like everybody says. And then they throw food over into the yard and dogs eat. There's people that said like Vettville, because their dogs ate stuff that was chucked from the fridge over into the yard. $1,000, $1,100 vet bill. So everything's perfect. So these people think it's perfect. Maybe we should put the fridge in their backyard and see what they think and see how, and then maybe they'll have a different attitude. So anyways, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so It's open to council members to get clarification, information, make comments. Mic's open. Councilor Ramsey.
Thank you, Your Worship. No, the only thing I saw, it's open 24 hours a day, or is there from 8 to 8, as this gentleman said, like I didn't know the hours. That's all I'm asking.
No, Elizabeth, we have staff here, and Sandra. David, can you address that, or
I
Sandra?
mean, I just want clarification on the hours, because I don't know the hours. Thank you very much.
Through the chair, Your Worship, I'll let the applicant try and field that question because I don't have the details myself.
Go ahead.
Yes, it is 24/7.
Councilor Matard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a couple questions. I'll try to do it two here. My first question is, which wasn't discussed here tonight, is there any existing safety measures in place currently to address the current challenges of there? Is there any e-watch cameras or any other security measures actively in place? I'll ask that to the Chair of Planning.
You're asking me that question?
Well, you can direct it to.
Yeah, so right now, what you see in the application is what you have. Because it was a pilot project from the previous manager, I will turn it over to David. If you have any, or to the applicant, to explain if there are any safety measures. I do know that there's no police cameras there from the city of Charlottetown, and I don't believe that there's security. I just know that there is probably occasional police presence, but other than that, I don't think I'd be equipped at this point to answer that question. So over to either the applicant or to our manager of planning. Thank you.
David, so do you want to defer to?
Through the chair, Your Worship, yeah, I'll defer to the applicant to try and field this. So.
Thank you. So in terms of the safety concerns, there are lots of measures. So I'm going to take the first tab in terms of our volunteers is one of the safety measures. We have 2 to 3 times a day volunteers going to the space. Now this could be individuals, like the same individuals going 2 to 3 times a day, or 2 to 3 different individuals. And these have been put in place in terms of keeping the space clean, tidy, and maintaining the space. And I do want to also clarify a couple things, that environmental health inspectors do regular inspections of the site, and we know this because we've been in touch with them. They have no alerts or concerns they've brought up themselves, and they do alert us if anything is wrong in terms of the cleanliness, in terms of the food quality, because they do regular inspections. And we are, if there was any concerns in terms of like the food quality, we are notified right away, immediately, and it is something we have to be proactive about. So that is one piece in terms of the measure that's in place. The other is in terms of the city and monitoring. We ourselves don't have any cameras on the structure, but the city police do have a camera across from the street that is functioning and working as well. And we are also in touch with the city police in terms of any supports or anything that we can do in terms of supporting the community. We always collaborate with them, and we have had no contact from the city police to ourselves in terms of any concerns.
Thank you. And my second question is, so I'm more curious, with the community fridge in the place, is that considered like geographically center or close to a demographic that would use the service? We talk about possibly relocation. Is there anything in regard to that specific location that makes it more effective than it being located somewhere else?
Okay. Again, David, do you wish to defer to?
I'm directing the question to.
Yeah, I know. Is it all right that he defers it to? Yeah, management. I think she's already said that. David, do you want to address it? Or?
Through the chair, Your Worship, I think that's probably better for the applicant to try and take a crack
Go ahead.
at. So I'll
Just want
defer
to
to
follow the
Sanders.
process.
Thank you for the question. So in terms of why Lions Club specifically was identified as a potential host, we first spoke with the city and the community neighbors, and not the neighbors directly in the vicinity of the Lions Club, but the community groups and advocates in Charlottetown, because we were trying to figure out and brainstorm what the best place would be for a community fridge, given that this project was non-existent on PEI prior to the structure being placed on Connolly Street. So we followed the process in terms of trying to figure out, trying to reach as much people as we can, and to the best of our knowledge. Now, I'm not a planner. I don't have the contact information of folks all around the community. So we thought we'll best first reach out to the city, and then we got suggestion to look into the Lions Club in terms of being a potential host, and given their track record in terms of supporting the community. So we made a presentation to the Lions Club. They were very receptive to it. And during those initial meetings with the Lions Club, we did ask them if it would be appropriate to go to each door around their property, and at that time we were giving the direction that we don't need to do that because of the process that we took place in terms of speaking to the municipality, speaking to the province, environmental health, and going and publishing the survey that was publicly available. And regardless of that, we also wanted to continue the process in terms of allowing people to contribute and provide their feedback. And that's one of the reasons why we have monthly public meetings. We also have the community fridge email and contact information posted on the fridge structure for folks to get in touch and contact, because I can see the frustrations, and it can definitely be a difficult situation, and I can see that, and I'm not against anybody here. We want to support, we want to help, and we want to address those challenges, and that's why it's so important to work together, because that's what the model is.
Yeah. And Sandra, just to clarify something, when this application was made back in 2020 or 2021, the manager at the time of planning said it was as of right. There was no rezoning required, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, Councillor,
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Just to the, I guess, the applicant, if I understand, so the community fridge is on Lions Club property, correct? And you've referenced the Lions Club, and I'm just wondering, are the Lions Club in any way a part of the volunteer base, the working of the fridge in any way? Are they partners in the operation in any way?
Just before you answer that, Councilor Mackler, you directed through the chair, but she may get an opportunity to speak to it. That's one of the processes.
Pardon me, process, still kind of gotta, get it right.
Thank you.
Through the chair,
Thank you.
sorry.
Thank you, Councillor McAleer. Thank you, Councillor McAleer. I think I'll defer that over to either the manager or to the applicant, as I'm not aware of the Lions Club's role in this besides offering up the space.
Okay, and David, it has to go through you first to wish to defer it.
Through the chair, Your Worship, I'll defer to the
Okay.
applicant again on this one.
Yeah, thank you for your question. So in terms of Lions Club's role in the fridge, they do provide the space. They also cover the insurance for the fridge in terms of property insurance, and they contribute indirectly. So they are constantly involved in the check-ins of the fridge, how things are going in terms of any concerns or challenges that come up. We try to troubleshoot. We try to figure out what the next steps would be. And some of the concerns that were highlighted today, those were things that I've sought advice from the Lions Club in terms of like what we can do. Like, is there a way we could meet with those folks that have the concerns, to talk with them, to figure out a solution? And every time we got to that point, the opportunity with other parties to have those conversations, that wasn't seen and that didn't happen. So they played a role in that sense in terms of like providing the SIP space and also guiding us in terms of like any concerns or challenges, and also donating to the fridge and contributing it in that way as well.
Okay. Councillor Tweel?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, when you said as of right, the correspondence I read from the previous manager of planning stated quite explicitly that he would grant approval as a pilot project. It wasn't, forever and a day. It was a pilot project, and that it would be reviewed and reevaluated, I guess, at a later date. So that's from the correspondence that we received from the manager of planning. It was a pilot project.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to direct that question to the chair because she was also there. Chair?
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Councillor Twill, for looking for that clarification. We all reviewed that correspondence, and it's not that you're incorrect, but the problem is that there's no clear definition of a pilot. There's no end date particularly to this pilot, which is where the problems arose, because as the new manager of planning and heritage, it came to be that it actually was not as of right, and that it did require a site-specific exemption, which is why we're here today, following the proper process, which was missed when this first started, not error to the applicant, but to just a clerical error here at the city of Charlottetown.
Process.
Yeah, just through process.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, Councillor Twill again.
Okay, I want everyone to know here that there's residents in the community that are very fearful of retribution and are fearful to get up and speak at the mic. Some are even afraid to come here tonight. That's a major concern to the people that live in this community. And it's intimidation, it's anxiety, it's a number of different adjectives that one can describe when it comes to an issue like this. So, a gentleman was up speaking earlier, is there an option with respect to relocation? I don't know. I would certainly be willing to help out with a relocation plan. I just wanted to state that for the record. And I know we're not supposed to make any comments, and we're not supposed to prejudice
Ask
ourselves,
questions.
but I can tell you, folks, we have a lot of residents, lifelong residents that live in this community that are, every day they have to deal with the stress. Every day. Every day. Thank you.
Deputy, did you want to follow up?
I did. And thank you, Councillor Twill. I appreciate your comments. I actually am looking for a little bit of clarification myself, because I think there's a bit of a question out there. Some folks are saying there's a camera that the police have that views the community fridge, but it's my understanding that it's actually more so for across the parking lot where the methadone clinic is. I don't have the answer to that, but I would like, whether we can seek that clarity this evening, or at least when this comes back to planning board, to see whether or not that is clear, because I don't know the answer to that, because I'm hearing two different pieces of information on that, whether the camera actually does face the community fridge or not. If either the applicant or the manager of planning can answer that this evening, that would be wonderful.
And David, you know that there is a camera on the post across from the fridge, so can you address what she's asking?
Yes, through the chair, your worship, to address Deputy Mayor Yankov's question, I can't confirm tonight, but the planning department can seek confirmation from Chief McConnell and police services on the exact placement of cameras that they may have care and control of, and we can get that answer back to members of council before we bring this to planning board. So, yeah.
And Madam Chair, that's what you're asking for? Yeah. Oh, Councillor McCabe is online. Do you have a question, Councillor McCabe?
No, I'm good. Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Duran?
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Councillor Beck?
Yeah, I guess first of all, thanks to everyone who who did share their views here tonight. I think that's the important part of processes like this, is to hear both sides of the issue. And so thank you to everyone who took the time out to come on this hot evening. I guess there's a couple of things that I was just wondering about, and Madam Chair, if it's okay, I think they would probably be answered by the applicant, so maybe I'll just skip you and go right on.
We can defer everything to the manager, or the manager can defer to Sandra. Good?
Just a clarification, something that Pauline was talking about on the Cook Days. Can you clarify for me again the initiative? It's the gentleman, Ken Simpson, came in there earlier and talked about coming in and helping out. Did I hear correctly that it was prepared 100 meals per week that go to that particular fridge? Could just someone clarify that for me?
I go in once a month and cook 100 meals.
Yeah.
And we have two other groups doing the same.
So 3 times per month.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. I did have a question similar to Councillor Matart, just on the possible alternative locations. I know, Sandra, you did a lot of work, you did a lot of research, you did a lot of surveys, prep work, a lot of consultations with different people. Were there, prior to the Lions Club coming in, were there other considerations that you had? Were there other jurisdictions that were, for lack of a better word, in the running?
Just as I step in for his worship, because he's not here, just had this explained by CAO Mohammed that we're seeking clarity on this particular application, and I believe that that question does not align with that,
Okay.
according to our CAO.
No problem.
Yep, thank you.
No problem. Can you, I want to go back to the question on public meetings. Sandra, can you elaborate a little bit on that? What those look like and how those worked? You talked about how the original discussion was with the Lions Club, and then you've had public meetings. Can you elaborate a little bit on what those look like for me?
Sure. So in terms of the public meeting, it happens once a month. It's on every second Monday of the month. It is publicized on social media, and we also try to put posters on the structure as well to inform anyone who uses the space and uses the fridge. So anyone and everyone can come to these public meetings, share their concerns, their feedback, and we usually have an agenda. It's an hour-long meeting at 6:30. We also have opportunity for folks to join virtually as well. And the meeting reminders are posted social media, but also through our fridge mailing list for those that have showed interest in getting frequently messages and things about the fridge. So at the meetings specifically, we start off with going through ground rules, going through updates, any task that was delegated previously that we can get into that was completed maybe, like action items. And then oftentimes, if there are any concerns, that usually gets talked about and that takes priority. And from those conversations, what we focus on is trying to do mutual decision-making process. So that just means that everyone has to agree or live with the decision in order to decide on what happens and in order to move to the next step. And so that's how the general process works in the meetings. And concerns like, for example, some of the things that was mentioned already about the needles and people experiencing addictions and overdose, that has been topic that has come up in the public meeting, and we acknowledge that, and I know everyone here is also aware that the issue of drug overdose and addictions is beyond the community fridge as well, and it's not exclusive to the community fridge. And so one of the things but we still wanted to have those conversations. So one of the things that we brainstormed and we tried to figure out was about providing naloxone kits and training. So that has been a solution that has come out of those meetings and that is accessible to volunteers. We met with the Chief Public Health Office and the Harm Reduction Officer and try to brainstorm on supports that we as volunteers of the community fridge can do in terms of addressing it on a very small scale. And what can we do in terms of supporting community members in that sense. So naloxone kits and training are available to volunteers who have opted to get that training and have those kits. And that's one small thing that has come out of the public meeting.
Good there, Councillor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Okay, so Deputy, do you want to give the next part of this process? It goes back to Planning Board?
Sure, Your Worship, thank you. So again, folks, you have till tomorrow at noon to send any more responses you may want through email to the Planning Department. And from here, this applicant, the information now, the public process has been completed after noon tomorrow. So that's when the Planning Department will start their work on creating a report based on the process. And it will go back to the next Planning Board meeting, not tomorrow evening's meeting, but the next one after that, with a report and a recommendation from staff to the Planning Board. And then that recommendation moves on to council, which would be, I would think, at our next monthly meeting of council, which would be the second Tuesday in August. So thank you very much, folks, for being here this evening.
So those letters that were read aloud, please forward them to the Planning Department. David, do they need PID numbers? Do they need names? How do we process them?
Through the chair, Your Worship, I would just advise folks to at least give their name and possibly their address if they're comfortable doing that, but it's not necessarily. But we do need a name so that we can identify who the who's writing to us, so that there's no duplicate letters, so we can actually log the exact number of responses that we have independently. So.
Yeah, and any letters that were read here can also be dropped off at the Planning Department, 8 till 4 tomorrow. Does it have to be in by 12 noon?
It has to be in by 12 noon, but 100% they can be sent in physically, dropped off, or over email, whatever's convenient for people. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Thank you for your participation, and there will be a follow-up going to Planning Board, back to Planning Department, then to Planning Board. So I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Ramsey, second by Councillor Ramsey. All in favor? Thank you very much.